caught in desire, brought up by a liar, got burned by the fire. Now I got blood on my hands, on my hands. And I'm way past the point of rejection. It takes every day, try as I may to forget you, and to let you go. I've seen the truth and it's killing me. I've seen the truth and there's nothing left to say. But it's gonna take worlds of pain to get over you. And it's gonna take worlds of pain to get over you. To get over you. I'm so delightfully wasted. I keep losing faith in my reason to breathe, thinking maybe I should drink you to death. My lust is my affliction. Can someone tell me why I surrender time for the quickest fix? Why am I wide awake when I lay my head to rest? Whoa, yeah. And I've seen the truth and it's killing me. And I've seen the truth and there's nothing left to say. Except it's gonna take worlds of pain to get over you. And it's gonna take worlds of pain to get over you. I'm looking for a new direction, but there's no end in sight. And please tell me.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm with the DL-1080. I had some problems with it. I actually cracked the frame. I already kind of got started on this. I just wanted to show you guys a quick motor swap out onto another frame. So I'm going to switch everything over to a new frame. I broke some of these pieces here. I just need to get this off so I can glue it. This one's broke and this one's broke here. So I went ahead and took off the two screws here. This just pops open, and then the flight board comes right out of there. After you disconnect the four motors, they just unplug right here, guys. So this is just going to be a quick ordeal here. I unplugged those, but the reason why I want to show you guys this is because on these motors you have to be able to get them out, to get the wire out of there, is you're going to have to go and pull the plug pins off. So what you're going to need to do, sorry I'm out of focus here, you're going to have to get like a little needle or a little flathead screwdriver here, and you're going to have to lift up on these little clips here so you can pull out each wire, because each wire has a little hook right there, so you don't rip the wire. That way you can pull the pin out and you can get this plug off of there and just sit it off the side there. Then that way you can slide this wire out. See how the wire goes up into here? You know, it's not going to let you, this is broke right here, but if this wasn't broke, you wouldn't be able to get this out with the plug on there. So you have to definitely unhook the plug, and then you'll be able to slide this motor out, which I'll probably use a little pair of pliers here. Just got to be easy. Okay, it doesn't take too much. Once you get it out far enough, you should be able to pull it out by hand. So slide this out. Now the motor should come right on out of there, guys. So okay, so there's that. The motors are good, everything's fine on this. It's just getting everything put back the way it came off. So just remember to keep everything in order, guys, and don't lose your little black grommets here. I got one inside the bowl here. That's a little shock mount there, so that way you don't get so much vibration in your FPV camera. So, all right, guys, gonna pause you. Gonna go and start pulling off the others of these clips here. Pop out the motor, start swapping it over, so that way I can get back to acro flying this DL-1080 Whoop. It's got acro and horizon mode, so definitely fun. If you guys seen my video, had a blast with it. So we're gonna go and swap it over like I said, and then I'm gonna repair this frame and keep it for a spare. So alright, stay tuned, guys. Alright guys, let me see if I get focused in on here. It's gonna be kind of hard to see with this camera for it to get focused in. So right here, let's see if I can get it to go again here. Right here's the pins here, so gotta go under here, and what I'll do is I'll pull on the wire, but don't pull on it too hard so you don't rip the wire. See, I just lifted the pin up right there for the wires. See if I can get the white ones out. And don't pull up too far either, guys, or you'll rip this plastic clip out and you'll be done for. You'll have to order another one. Okay, that one's out. So here we go. That one's off, and it doesn't matter if you get those mixed up, because that won't matter at all, guys. Show you what I do here. Just try to be easy when you're pulling these out. This kind of clips in there. There we go. I just popped through, and you can see the wires where they run through here. So I'm going to go ahead and don't put too much pressure on the pliers, because you don't want to. Okay, got that out. You don't want to go and crimp this, and it'll cause problems with the brushes in there. So be careful with that, guys. All right, so we're going to slide this out one at a time here, so they don't get hooked. Okay, there is number 2. So I want to keep this lined up so I remember where these go. So this one is going to be right here. I didn't show you the first one going in. So what I'm going to have to do is actually, let's see, I have to actually feed. Alright, get this right here. Let me pause you guys for 1 second here. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to feed the wires through here. So the wires will go through this part first. That's why we couldn't keep the connector on. Okay, slide the wires through there, but keep yourself a little bit here, because you're going to have to slide the motor in down here. So it's going to have to suck the wires down there, so be careful you don't be too forceful. Okay guys, sorry about that. I ran out of memory on my memory card, so I had to swap over. So okay, what I was showing you is I sliding this motor over. I hope I don't know where it cut off, so I'm not looking at the moment, but you want to, after you feed the wires through right here, you want to slide the motor through, and then what I do is I don't clamp down. I just put my pliers right here. You can even go sideways like this, and I just push so I can slide that motor down, and make sure that your wires don't get caught up so you don't rip them out of the motor. And then till it bottoms out. It's at the bottom now. I'll double check this one, make sure it's at the bottom. Okay, it's at the bottom. So now we're gonna move on. We'll move on to these other ones here. So pop this off. Alright guys, last motor, that clip came off really super easy, so let's pull this one out. I gotta be careful with this because I don't want to rip out this motor mount. This last motor mount, this is the one that's broke. This is the one I have to repair. They break really easy right here, so always remember that. These frames aren't the strongest, but you know, they do work. And I wasn't used to this quadcopter, but I'm pretty used to it now, and acro's not too hard. It's just you got to give yourself a lot of pickup room. You know what I'm trying to say is give yourself a lot of altitude when you go to do acro flips and rolls and stuff like that, because it don't have quite enough juice to power itself back up. So if you're not at least 20 feet off the ground, and you do an acro, you know, you go around and spin, you go to come back, it's going to slap the ground. So that's why I say you want to go and practice over nice soft grass, things like that when you first are learning, you know, so that way, and give yourself plenty of altitude, but not too much because you don't want to have a flyaway. You know, I went a little too high and the wind caught this and blew it into a tree. So that's um, part of the reason why I broke one part of the frame. The other part of the frame was because when I got this, you can even see right here how it's not round anymore. It was all bent up, and I tried to kind of straighten it out instead of using heat and working it slowly. I forced it too much and I broke this one myself. So you don't want to do that. I learned using a slow heat. I had to do it with this new frame. Is I was able to lay it down, have it nice and warm, and I put something a little heavy on it, and it straightened this out. So this is all straight now, and these are nice and round here. So I was able to reform the frame. You can do it with a like a heat gun, but don't go crazy on it. So, all right, I'm going to push this motor in, and then we'll start putting the clamps back in. So, yeah, that one's starting to hang up a little bit. So I don't want to rip those wires, that's for darn sure, or I'll be out of motor. I'll be ordering a motor then. Okay, here we go, and it's bottomed out. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just start putting these connectors back on, and they're pretty self-explanatory, and it's hard to see with my camera, but they got little ledges on them, or you know, one spot sticks out a little further than the other. You'll see how that lines up when you get the connector. So it's only going to go in that one way and then come back out and latch. So just make sure you have the wires the right spot. You know, you don't have them reversed. You'll know if you have them reversed is if the motor spins the wrong way when you go to fire it up and it doesn't want to take off. So I have it labeled already. I don't have the paper with me. I got to bring the paper, but I have them labeled to which way it's going to go. So, all right, guys, I'm going to pause you. I'm going to put these connectors on, and then I'm going to put the flight board back on and the camera and stuff. So I'll be right back. All right, guys. I always take pictures of the quads if I have to take them apart, so you can see where everything went. So I go back and look at my pictures to make sure that I'm lining everything up. You know, it does have, well, I was going to mention, it has 4 O-rings that I showed you that go underneath the flight board for vibration. There's one extra O-ring here, and this one goes on top of the flight board here. If you guys could see that, it's a little dark, I apologize. But it goes right on top, and then this screw goes on here, so you can be able to tighten it down. Once you get it on there, you should be able to tighten this down. Just don't go too tight so you don't strip it out or crack your board. So there we go. We're just going to go a little snug there. And you know you're right is when the power cord here has plenty of room. It's not in the way of anything. And then you look at your Betaflight port right here for the computer to hook up your cable. It'll be right next to the battery tray, like super close. It just fits in there. So you know you have it lined up right, guys. So now it's just all about plugging the motors in. So I want to plug in the motors first, and then what I'm going to do is then I'll run the wire here and tuck the wire away. So let's plug this in here. These are little, especially if you've got big hands like myself, it's kind of hard to get these little plugs here. So just be patient. If you have to, if you got a small pair of needle nose, but don't force it, you can use it to hold it and be able to plug those in. So I just want to make sure, yep, okay, that one's plugging in. And we'll get this one here. And I'm plugging these in before I mount up the canopy here, so in case I have to do anything, I don't have to take everything back apart. Okay, those plugged in. I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to hold the board so that way I don't hurt the board here. Plug this in. this motor in here. Okay, get that one snapped in. Then I'll get the last motor here snapped in, then I can put the canopy back on. Get the last plug, I should say, for the motor. Twist that back around here. It's best to have just a little tiny pair, or even tweezers would work good too, guys. If you have a little pair of tweezers, make life a lot easier as well. So I just don't have anything on me right now. Okay, those are all plugged in, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and put the canopy on. Just snaps back in right there. Snaps down in the front, and then I could go ahead and run the screws in here. So let me put that on. That snapped in there, lined up, snapped in. Alright guys, I'm going to go and get that all screwed down, and then I'll run the wires and they'll be ready for a test flight. So hang in there, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm getting a little blurry there. There we go. Okay, these little screws are kind of very small, guys, so I suggest to have, you know, that's why I got this white towel, so I could see this paper towel, so that way I know where the screws are at, because this dark tray here, I dropped this screw, I won't be able to find it. Same with in the carpet. You got dark carpet, you lose that screw. It's that's all she wrote, and you'll be in a mess here. So you don't want to go super tight, just enough to snug it down, because you don't want to crack your frame. So go around one more time. Okay, that's good. So what you want to do is you're gonna tuck these wires down in here, guys. So I don't want to use my knife. I'm just gonna tuck these down in here without breaking the frame here. So this is the part that's going to take a little bit of time. It's getting these wires all snugged back down in there, guys. So it takes a little patience, but you'll get it. You'll get them all down there. You get one wire at a time. I got the blue wire down in there. Sorry, I'm off camera here because I'm trying to see myself here. Okay, it snaps in a little groove right there, and away we go. There's one, and then you can go and there's one motor wires snugged in, and I'll just go and kind of tuck these down here out of the way, so that way they don't come back and get into the blade there. Okay, so that's how you do it here. Let's get focused in. See, I squeeze it in here, it just clamps in here. Just be careful, like I said, you don't want to break this. These are what break of the motor mounts right here. Usually these pieces right here, this is the parts. So I got that tucked in, put the wires down here out of the way, and I'll go around and do the same for the rest of them. And then I'm going to go and fire this thing up without the propellers, just to be safe, even though these ones won't hurt you, but safety is key, guys. So remember that, especially if you're messing with the bigger drones. You know, like the Bugs 3, even though I was messing with the camera and putting this FPV camera in here, you know, I still took off the propellers when I was firing it up to make sure it was running, making sure the controller button was, I was pressing it to make sure it was recording and taking photos, because just in case, you never know. This thing, it's enough to bite you, put a big cut or gash in you. You don't want to do that. So, and especially if you have any children around or anything like that, you don't want to hurt them as well. So, you know, it's best just to take the propellers off, guys. So, all right, let me get those tucked in, and I'm going to go and get the battery and the controller, and we're going to start it up and see how it does. So, I'll be right back, guys. Hang in there. All right, guys, just plugged in the battery. Get that plugged in here. Let's see what happens here. Turn the controller on. Alright. Let's see what happens. Let's see if I can remember which one it is here. Oh, there it is, this one. Alright, that one's spinning, 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 and spinning. Okay, those are spinning. Shut that off. Now I'm going to put the propellers on. So let me pause you guys real quick. I'll be right back. Alright guys, propellers are on. Let me arm it. Let's get it started here. Okay. Alright guys, I was wrong when I was putting this together a little earlier in the video. So if it's in there about matching up the wires, what I did is the good advice that I have for you is what I did. I recorded everything when I went to go take it off, and I took pictures so I knew exactly where everything went. So what happened is I had this red wire was swapped with this blue wire, so that one was off, and so was this white wire was switched with the black wire here. So I swapped those back around, connected it back into the connector, plugged it in, and now should be ready to go, guys. That's why it's always good to record everything. If you don't have a diagram or anything to tell you how to put it back together, record. Always record and take pictures. That way you can always put it back together. So let me power this thing on. Alright, let me fire it up here. Yep, it is flying. Yes, it is working, guys. So it flies. Alright. Well, it's nighttime right now, so I'm going to go and get this thing out there in the morning, so I can't wait to fly acro again. It's been a while, so I'll see you guys out in the field. So